Alright lads, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at something which I didn't even think was possible in War Thunder. An actually good British tank. Unluckily for you though lads, you are going to have to fork out $60 to unlock this vehicle. The Rooikat 105 is a rank 6 battle rating 9.0 premium located obviously in the British tech tree. While there are two other tech tree Rooikats, the 76mm armed version at battle rating 8.3, as well as the MTTD variant at battle rating 9.0. But the latter only features DM23 for its main round, whereas the premium gets DM33. It's not pay to win boys, I swear, Guardian would never do something like that. Anyway, this is a premium light tank, setting you back $60 from the Guardian store. You'll also get 15 days of premium time, as well as 2,000 Golden Eagles. While there are three other rank 6 premiums available for the British, you have the Shot Caudelet, which I don't think you can buy anymore, you have the Challenger DS, as well as a Khalid. All three of the other options are a little bit crap in my opinion, so the Rooikat 105 is by far your best option. And on top of this, I think it's actually a fun tank to play as well. But just because this tank is fun, should you actually buy it? Well, stick around for the rest of the video to find out. Alright lads, welcome back. As always, starting with the engine and mobility, and the tank is powered by an engine producing 567 horsepower. Combined with the vehicle's weight of 28.5 tons, it gives the Rooikat a very respectable power to weight ratio of 19.9 horsepower per ton. Just bear in mind though that this is obviously a 8x8 wheeled chassis and not a tracked vehicle, so its low speed torque and low speed manoeuvrability isn't going to be as good as a track tank. What the Rooikat lacks in nimbleness though, it certainly makes up for in top speed. It can reach 121 km per hour going forwards and 37 km per hour in reverse. Naturally though, you aren't going to be reaching that top speed pretty often. Most maps in War Thunder aren't really suited for high speed pursuits really. A lot of the newer maps in War Thunder are quite built up urban areas where you can't really use your high top speed, as you kind of just crash into everything. On the more open rural maps though, the Rooikat 105 is an absolute beast of a flanker, but just bear in mind on some of the more urban maps like Advance the Rhine or Berlin, I wouldn't really take this tank as a first spawn, as you cannot really utilise its main advantage, which is its speed. An area where the Rooikat certainly isn't strong is its survivability. If we take a look at this cutaway, we can see that we have a crew of 4 men, a driver in the hull, and a gunner, commander and loader located in the fighting compartment or turret. We can also see large amounts of ammunition located directly in the turret itself. While we do have an ammunition bustle located in the rear of the turret, this only contains around 10 rounds of ammunition, and even still it isn't going to protect you. So if you take a hit centre of mass in the Rooikat 105, you are basically dead. The situation doesn't really get much better when we look at the arm performance itself. If we take a look at this thing's protection against the BMP-2M using its 30mm APDS belt, which is capable of punching through 81mm of armour at a range of 100 meters. We can see that pretty much all of the lower frontal plate and the turret front is completely penetrable by this round. The only place that isn't penetrable by this round is the very angled upper glacis plate, but bear in mind this isn't even the APFSDS round found on the BMP-2M, it's just the APDS belt. What I'm trying to show is that the Rooikat is very vulnerable to anything auto-firing gun over 25mm in caliber, and from the side aspect, even the Soviet 14.5mm heavy machine guns can go straight through you. So while the Rooikat certainly is a speedy little boy, it certainly isn't a prop forward. Hopefully you guys get that South African rugby joke. I know a lot of Americans don't even know what rugby is. But the Rooikat 105 certainly isn't the biggest bloke in the pub. Moving on to the firepower, and the Rooikat 105, you guessed it, is armed with a 105mm gun. A very creative name from Gaijin indeed. This is the GT7 cannon. It's basically a copy of the Royal Ordnance L7. We can carry 32 rounds of ammunition in total, with a first stage ready rack of 16 rounds. We have the NATO standard 10 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation, as well as a 2-plane gun stabilizer. However, due to the speed of the Rooikat, over around 40 kilometers per hour, the stabilizer becomes pretty much useless as the gun starts to bounce and wobble. Being a NATO standard 105mm gun, we also have a pretty standard reload time. With a stock crew, we can reload every 8.7 seconds, and with an ace crew, that drops down to 6.7 seconds. So not great, not terrible. Should have been 3.6 seconds. But anyway, our stock shell is the DM12 Heater Fest round. Pretty standard to be honest, not really going to be using this as we do get other shells available. We also have the DM512, this is a Hess shell. Again, pretty decent, but you're not really going to be using it that much. We then have two APFSDS rounds. The first is the top round found on the Rooikat MTTD, the tech tree version of this vehicle. Back in the old days of War Thunder, DM23 used to be a god tier round, but now it's just kind of average. We then finally have the DM33 round. At a range of 500 meters, this thing can penetrate almost 400mm of flat armor, and an armor angled against 60 degrees, it still manages a very respectable 230mm of penetration. The DM33 round both has good characteristics of penetration and excellent post-penetration damage. This means if you can land a shot center of mass on an enemy, you are almost certainly going to both penetrate and kill them in a single hit. It also kind of up tier proofs the Rooikat, as the DM33 round is more than capable of penetrating and killing any vehicle that you will ever see in an up tier. This means the Rooikat is just as effective in an up tier as it is in a down tier, and I personally use this vehicle in my top tier 11.7 lineup. The premium speed and good firepower just allows you to use it pretty much at batter rating 9.0 and upwards, and it's always going to be viable, kind of like the BMP-2M and Radkampfwagen 90. So the Rooikat 105 has good mobility, poor survivability, and a pretty punchy gun. So what are the other things I think you guys should know about? Well, the main issues with the Rooikat aren't too much to do with hit itself, it's more the lineup at 9.0 for Britain. It's pretty bland to be honest and not really that enjoyable. You don't have any main battle tanks at 9.0, while you do have the chieftains, they are absolutely abysmal. Even the Khalid is basically dead on arrival, and that thing has twice the engine power and a better main gun round. The Rooikat 105 also isn't noob player friendly, it's quite an advanced vehicle, you don't have any armor to bounce shots, and you're mainly going to do well if you know about good positioning on maps, as well as knowing when to engage and then when to run away. Newer players may be better picking up the Challenger DS, as well I don't think it has as high a ceiling in terms of competitiveness. I do believe it is better for a newer player. I would recommend people buy the Rooikat 105 if you are connoisseurs or enjoyers of the British tech tree. As I said, I mainly use this tank at 11.7 as a backup for my Challenger 2s, just as something that's speedy and can get across the map. If you're trying to get this tank and play it at batter rating 9.0, it's not really going to be that enjoyable. But anyway boys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing, and be sure to let me know down below in the comments what vehicle you would like to see me review next. As always, a big thank you to my YouTube members, and as always lads, thank you very much for watching.